From whispered legends of haunted streets to chilling accounts of horrifying crimes, these towns shroud themselves in mystery, daring the brave to uncover their secrets. Today we delve into the dark underbelly of the Golden State, uncovering the disturbing small towns hiding pure evil. Starting off, we are heading over to Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake was just a tranquil, gated community in California until it became the very dark backdrop for the heinous crimes of Dana Sue Gray. In a horrifying spree, Gray brutally attacked and took the lives of elderly women using their credit cards to fund lavish shopping trips. Her brutal acts, fueled by material greed, culminated in her arrest following a detailed description from a surviving victim. Gray's chilling case underscores a disturbing reality. Even the most serene towns can harbor sinister secrets, reminding us that evil knows no geographical bounds. Next up, we are heading over to Yuba City. On the surface, Juan Corona seemed like a regular man who was hired as a labor contractor at some fruit orchards in Yuba City, California. But what the residents didn't know is that things would very quickly take a dark turn. By establishing his own business, he became a crucial link between local farmers and seasonal laborers. But the tranquility of Yuba City was shattered in 1971 when farmer Goro Keiichiro discovered a suspicious, man-sized hole in his orchard, leading to a very grim discovery: multiple bodies buried in shallow graves bearing brutal marks of violence. Corona, previously linked to a violent crime and known for his troubled history, emerged as the prime suspect. His connection to the victims, evidenced by receipts and chilling ledgers, alongside potential tools found in his home, formed the backbone of the prosecution's case. Despite an initial conviction being overturned, Corona was eventually sentenced to 25 life terms, marking him as one of America's most notorious serial killers at the time. His repeated parole requests have been uniformly denied, which I'm sure we can all breathe a sigh of relief for. Next up, we are heading over to Visalia. In the small town of Visalia, California, a series of burglaries, horrifying crimes, and even a killing known as the Visalia Ransacker incident took place in the mid-1970s. But what if I told you that these crimes were solved decades later in a shocking twist? The perpetrator broke into homes, committed petty thefts, and escalated to violence, culminating in taking the life of Claude Snelling, a college professor trying to protect his daughter. These crimes terrorized the community and remained unsolved for decades until advancements in DNA technology linked them to a man, revealing the disturbing depth of his crimes across California. Many of you likely know the man who is most often referred to as the Golden State Killer. It is believed that these series of crimes in Visalia acted as a sort of training ground for the GSK before his later crime sprees that we are more familiar with. Next on our list today, we are heading over to Keddie, which is in Northern California. In the spring of 1979, Glenna Susan or Sue Sharp, seeking a fresh start after separating from her husband, moved with family to Northern California near to her brother. Initially residing in a trailer, the Sharp family later relocated to a more spacious home in Keddie, a quiet Sierra Nevada community. This tranquility was shattered on a grim morning in April 1981 when a horrifying scene was discovered in their home, plunging the town into a chilling mystery. Sue and 3 others were found deceased under brutal circumstances, prompting a very complex investigation involving local law enforcement and even the FBI. Amidst swirling rumors and a few solid leads, the case unfortunately grew cold, haunted by unanswered questions and the specter of injustice. The community of Keddie, enveloped in the shadow, would absolutely never be the same, and the Sharp family tragedy unfortunately remains unsolved. Next up on our list, we are moving over to Eureka. Eureka is usually like, wow, that's amazing. It's not right now, unfortunately. Eureka is a town in California, of course, and it is located on the shores of Humboldt Bay, but this beautiful coastal city was met with a very dark cloud back in 2014 when a local crime involving a priest rocked the town. The priest was sadly found in the rectory of his church, and authorities quickly knew that foul play was to be suspected. The feeling of the city changed after this crime as people were unsure of how to respond or who could possibly be responsible for such a horrific crime. This was all fueled by the fact of where this crime had taken place, in a place of worship where members of the community went to feel safe or feel taken care of, and it was now a place of unspeakable evil. After thorough investigations by local law enforcement, a suspect came to light, a man named Gary Lee Bullock, who had recently been released from jail just days before this crime took place. In the end, Gary was put on trial and found guilty for his crimes. While he had tried to plead an insanity case, the evidence proving that after the crimes he attempted to destroy the evidence proved that he knew what he had done was wrong, and he was sentenced to 2 life sentences. Next up on our list we have Placerville. Nestled in the heart of California's Gold Rush region, Placerville, once ominously dubbed Hangtown, holds a treasure trove of history mingled with spectral whispers from its boisterous past. This town, a pivotal site during a frenzied epoch of American history, proudly retains its architectural lineage, offering a tangible connection to the days when justice was often swift and harsh. As you stroll down its main thoroughfare enveloped by the echoes of yesteryears, you can't help but feel the palpable presence of the Old West. Places like the Hangman's Tree Saloon and the historic Carey House Hotel are not just remnants of history, they are places where some say the spirits of those who once tread these grounds linger, unwilling or unable to move on. Next on our list we are heading over to Felton. Picture this, a tranquil California town in the 70s. An era of peace and love suddenly becomes the place of a shocking event that shook the very foundation of the community. Enter John Linley Frazier, a man whose journey from a troubled youth to a convicted individual is as bewildering as it is tragic. Once a high school dropout from Santa Cruz County, Frazier spiraled into a deep obsession with apocalyptic prophecies and environmental zealotry, convincing himself that he was a chosen savior tasked with a very grim mission. On an unassuming day in October 1970, the serene mansion of Victor Ota, a well-respected ophthalmologist, became the scene of a very chilling act. Frazier, armed and determined, targeted Ota's family and their secretary, leaving a trail of sorrow in what was once a home filled with laughter and love. The perpetrator's manifesto, a very bizarre note left in an expensive car, hinted at a warped crusade against materialism, a tragic commentary on distorted ideals. While the case eventually saw justice, with Frazier sentenced and later found lifeless in his cell years later, the incident remains a very dark stain on the narrative of a town caught between its idyllic past and the harsh realities of a changing world. Next on our list today we have Covina, California. On a seemingly festive Christmas Eve in 2008, Covina, a town of course in California, became the home for a shocking and very tragic event. The Ortega family, known for their love of the holiday season, had gathered to celebrate, embracing the joy and togetherness that Christmas is known for. However, the night took an unimaginable turn when an individual dressed as Santa Claus arrived at their door. This was no ordinary holiday visitor. It was Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, who unleashed a horrifying sequence of violence, leading to the loss of 9 lives at the Ortega family gathering. He didn't just use firearms, he also employed a makeshift flamethrower, turning a scene of celebration into one of absolute devastation. Pardo's actions were not just a spree of violence, but a meticulously planned event rooted in a personal vendetta stemming from a recent divorce. Despite the meticulous planning, the night ended in Pardo's self-inflicted demise, adding a very grim conclusion to an already dark chapter. The incident left an indelible mark on the town of Covina, transforming a date meant for joy into a memory of loss and sorrow. Next up, in a much lighter turn of events, we are heading over to Idyllwild, California. Nestled amidst the towering pines and rustic cabins, Idyllwild serves up its own unique cocktail of natural beauty mingled with the mystique of the unknown. It's not just a haven for artists and hikers, but also a hotspot for those intrigued by the paranormal and the arcane. Imagine sitting by a crackling campfire, the air crisp with mountain chill, when suddenly the night is pierced by inexplicable lights dancing in the sky. Are they wayward campers, a trick of the light, or something more mysterious? Whispers of occult rituals in the surrounding woods only adds an extra layer of intrigue, painting Idyllwild not just as a picturesque retreat, but as a place where the veil between the ordinary and the extraordinary seems very thin. And finally, we are ending off our list today in Julian, California. In the serene town of Julian, known for its golden apples and rustic charm, there is a slice of mystery that rivals even even its famed pies. As night falls over this quaint mountain retreat, some residents and visitors report witnessing mysterious lights weaving through the woods, an otherworldly spectacle that stirs curiosity and whispers of the unknown. Not only this, but a very peculiar phenomenon has been observed. Episodes of unexplained sleepwalking, where individuals are drawn towards the forest under a moonlit trance. These incidents, free from sinister undertones, paint Julian not just as a haven for pie enthusiasts and nature lovers, but also as a hotspot for those intrigued by the unexplained. It's a place where the ordinary meets the mysterious, adding an intriguing layer to this otherwise idyllic setting. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Bye! So picture this, a tranquil, what the fuck? It was broof. It's not, it's like the worst fucking story ever. These people were murdered on Christmas Eve, and I'm like, proof, that's funny. And it is adding a very, what the